But we're going to make sure we're breathing through our own personal air conditioner, our own personal air purifier, and our own personal air humidifier. It's called nose. Mouth is for eating, drinking, singing, and speaking, and wind instruments and whistling. But nose and nose alone is for breathing.
Did you know that the way you breathe can impact your energy levels, sleep quality, and even your overall health? Nose breathing is something that our bodies are naturally designed for, filtering the air, boosting oxygen absorption, and even supporting brain function. Most people around the world, however, have developed a habit of mouth breathing, whether due to stress, nasal congestion, or simply not paying attention. But if you primarily breathe through your mouth, you might be unknowingly affecting your lung efficiency, endurance, and even facial structure. So what happens when you rely on mouth breathing instead of your nose? And how can you train yourself to breathe the right way? If you want to improve your health and performance through better breathing, stay tuned as we break down the science of nose versus mouth breathing and how you can make the switch. As a thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment why you want to win.
I used to say we have about 5 million alveoli. And my husband is my biggest critic. And I'm very glad, because if I pass Michael, I'll pass anyone. And I was reading a study done by some doctors, and they found that every cigarette smoked kills an alveoli. And when I said that, I saw my husband quickly get paper and pen, and he said to me later, impossible. He said, impossible. If an alveoli basically explodes with every cigarette smoke, he said it's impossible if we've only got, say, 5 million. So I went back to the drawing boards and I went to Gray's Anatomy, 300 million. We have 300 million alveoli. Isn't that incredible? Now, inside every alveoli is a minuscule droplet of water. Now, because of the surface tension of water, have you ever looked at a creek or a lake and you see some little creatures walking on top of the water? Do you know why they're walking on top of the water? Because of surface tension of water. Now, I know I trained as a hairdresser when I first left school, and we learnt about this, because when you put shampoo in your hair, you break the surface tension, and that's how you wash your hair. So if you were to squirt shampoo or dish detergent into water, the little creatures on top of the water would sink, because you've actually broken the surface tension. Now, because of the surface tension of water, every time we breathe out, that little alveoli collapses, and that allows all the carbon dioxide to come out. You see this little blood capillary network? When we breathe in, like this, we're putting oxygen in there. And what happens is there's like a dropping of the carbon dioxide and a picking up of the oxygen in that blood, and then we breathe out the carbon dioxide. It's an amazing process. Now, if the person's dehydrated and they don't have that little minuscule droplet of water in the lungs, that little alveoli doesn't totally collapse, which means when we breathe in, we can't get a full quota of oxygen because there's still a little bit of carbon dioxide in that alveoli. And that's why, to pick up our full quota of oxygen, we need to be fully hydrated. And the best way to hydrate the body, again, is little by little by little by little, with that little crystal of Celtic salt before every glass of water. Because in the winter time, maybe you don't have it here in Malaysia or Singapore, but at Misty Mountain on a cold frosty morning when everyone's out there exercise, you can see each other's breath, because every breath has moisture on it. So when you're dehydrated, you know what the body does? It shrinks up the little bronchioles to conserve the water. So in dehydration, not only are you not able to pick up as much oxygen, but in dehydration, you're not getting as much oxygen because also these little bronchioles shrink up to try and preserve the amount of water that we have got. So dehydration is absolutely essential to make sure you've got your full quota of oxygen. So when I said the Framingham Heart Study showed that by the age of 50, most people had lost 40% lung capacity, how is that? Many people have become high chest breathers. Do you know what that means? They're only using the top half of their lungs. So what causes high chest breathing? Poor posture. So if you're standing like this, it's impossible to use your abdominal muscles with the breathing process. And you know, our body was designed to use those abdominal muscles with the breathing process. To be able to do that, we have to be standing up straight. We have to make sure our skirt or our pants, you should be able to put your fist in your skirt or your pants. So restriction here prohibits your body using your abdominal muscles with the breathing process. And that's why it's so important to do exercises every day that strengthen your abdominal muscles.
Breathing deeply and correctly can significantly improve oxygen intake. When a person takes slow, deep breaths, the diaphragm moves efficiently, allowing the lungs to expand fully. This helps in removing stale air trapped in the lungs, making room for fresh oxygen. Many people breathe too shallowly, keeping their lungs from functioning at full capacity. Strengthening the diaphragm through proper breathing exercises can make a noticeable difference. Hydration also plays a key role in maintaining lung function. Without enough water, mucus in the lungs thickens, making it harder to clear out waste. This can lead to congestion and reduced oxygen absorption. Drinking small amounts of water consistently throughout the day keeps the lungs moist and functioning properly. A dry respiratory system struggles to perform at its best, and over time this can contribute to respiratory issues. Movement and posture affect breathing as well. Sitting for long periods compresses the diaphragm and prevents full lung expansion. Standing up straight and engaging in physical activity encourages deeper breaths, helping to clear out carbon dioxide and bring in more oxygen. Walking, stretching, and exercises that involve controlled breathing can train the body to use the lungs more effectively. Even something as simple as lying flat on the ground and taking slow, deep breaths can improve lung capacity. Breathing through the nose instead of the mouth is another important factor. The nose filters, warms, and humidifies the air before it reaches the lungs. Mouth breathing bypasses these natural defenses, leading to drier airways and increased exposure to airborne particles. The nasal passages also release nitric oxide, which helps widen blood vessels and improve oxygen distribution throughout the body. Training the body to breathe through the nose, even during sleep, can have long-term benefits for lung health.
What an amazing organism is the nose. Did you know that in the nose there are all these little hairs? And in the nose it's like a cave with all these little cavities. And if we breathe in something that's got dust on it, it's heavy. If we breathe in pure air, it is so light it goes straight through into the trachea and down into the lungs. But if it's got a bit of dust or something on it, it's heavier. So when it comes into the nose, it starts ricocheting around all those little cavities. It shoots backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards to drop off the dust. Then it becomes light and it goes back down the trachea and into the lungs. And then at the end of the day, we blow our nose. Is that right? Especially we've been digging in the garden. So those hairs there are there to trap any dust or things like that are on it. And then we come to the mouth. Do you know there's no hairs in your mouth? That's why we should be nose breathers, not mouth breathers. We should be nose breathers. And if someone says, well, I can't breathe through my nose, so then I ask, why can't you breathe through your nose? Well, it's all blocked up. So why is it blocked up? Oh, it's just always blocked up. Do you know excess mucus in that area indicates that that person's got an allergy? It might be to an allergy to a chemical. It might be allergy to a mold maybe they're breathing in, or it could be an allergy to the food they're eating.
Nose breathing has several benefits compared to mouth breathing, especially for lung health, oxygen absorption, and overall well-being. Many people do not realize that the way they breathe can affect their energy levels, immune system, and even their facial structure. Breathing through the nose is the way the body was designed to function, while mouth breathing is often a sign of stress, poor posture, or an underlying issue. One of the biggest advantages of nose breathing is that it filters the air before it enters the lungs. The nose is lined with tiny hairs called cilia and a layer of mucus that trap dust, bacteria, and other harmful particles. This prevents these unwanted substances from reaching the lungs, reducing the risk of infections and allergies. In contrast, breathing through the mouth allows unfiltered air, full of pollutants, to go straight into the lungs, increasing the chances of respiratory problems. The nose also warms and humidifies the air before it reaches the lungs. Cold, dry air can irritate the airways and lead to problems like asthma or chronic cough. By the time air passes through the nasal passages, it has been adjusted to a temperature and moisture level that is more comfortable for the lungs. Mouth breathing, on the other hand, delivers dry and unfiltered air, which can cause throat irritation and dehydration. Another important benefit of nose breathing is the production of nitric oxide. This is a gas naturally produced in the nasal passages, and it plays a crucial role in expanding blood vessels, improving circulation, and increasing oxygen delivery to the body. When a person breathes through the mouth, they miss out on this beneficial gas, which can result in lower oxygen levels in the blood. Higher oxygen levels help with concentration, energy, and overall health. Nose breathing also improves lung efficiency by encouraging deeper breaths. The diaphragm, which is the main muscle responsible for breathing, is more engaged when air enters through the nose. This helps expand the lungs fully, bringing in more oxygen and removing more carbon dioxide. Mouth breathing tends to be shallow and rapid, limiting the amount of oxygen the body receives and leading to fatigue and poor concentration. The way a person breathes can also affect sleep quality. Nose breathing supports proper airflow during sleep, reducing the chances of snoring and sleep apnea. People who breathe through their mouths at night often wake up feeling tired because their bodies do not get enough oxygen while they sleep. Keeping the mouth closed and training the body to breathe through the nose can improve sleep quality and overall energy levels. Mouth breathing can even change facial structure over time, especially in children. Constant mouth breathing can lead to a narrow jaw, misaligned teeth, and even changes in posture. This is because the tongue does not rest properly against the roof of the mouth when breathing through the mouth, which can affect the development of the jaw and airway. Nose breathing encourages proper tongue posture and helps with healthy facial development. Training the body to breathe through the nose may take some effort, but the benefits are worth it. Simple practices like keeping the lips closed during the day, using nasal strips at night, and practicing deep breathing exercises can help retrain the body. Nose breathing is a natural and efficient way to support lung health, improve oxygen intake, and enhance overall well-being.
What also needs to be addressed, so we'll put an address here. What needs to be addressed is the quality of air that you're breathing. So it's very important to check whether you have exposure to chemicals. Very important that you, and I'm talking about the airways, whether you have any exposure to mold. In Australia, when you buy a pillow, it's got a date on it. You know why it's got a date on it? They suggest you throw it away. Every pillow in my house and at our health centre has a pillow protector on it because it's easy to wash a pillow protector. You can even wash your pillows. We spend a third of our life in bed, is that right? Third of our life in bed. So you've got to seriously address the quality of your bedding, and when I say quality of your bedding, make sure you haven't got chemical exposure in quilts and things that are made out of plastic type materials. I remember I was in New Zealand and I went into the room I was staying and the blankets were made out of like a polyester. And I thought, oh dear. First night I thought, no, it's not keeping me warm. And then I looked on top of the cupboard and there was a big container full of woolen blankets. So I got a chair and I climbed up and I got the woolly blankets. Go for your natural fibres. Try and be surrounded by natural fibres when you're sleeping. Cotton sheets, cotton blankets. It's probably all you need here in Singapore, yeah, is cotton blankets. Ones that breathe. Yes?
Like for humid weather like Singapore, what do you think of a down feather? And also one more, which is down feather, especially.
Would you ever need a down feather in Singapore? Well, some rooms, if I was to sleep in this room, I'd probably need a down feather because it's so cold in here. But I find that the air conditioning is often very cold. But one of the problems with down, and I have a down quilt on my bed, but if you're in a moist environment, those feathers can absorb the moisture. And if that's not aired, then that can grow mould. So that's one thing you would have to be careful of. Mind you, in our health retreat, just about every quilt in every room is either feather or wool, but we've just gone into winter and we're cold.
How about the silk warm, like the silk warm blanket,
Yeah.
actually kind of like absorb moisture.
Oh, the silk's very good. You see, the natural fibre breathes. You just need to be mindful of what we all should do when we get up in the morning is take the bedclothes back and let the bed have an air because we lose moisture in the night. That's why you have to be careful of your bed, that there's no mould in your pillows. And if you have a night where you perspire a lot, that goes into your bedding. So it's very important to make sure there's fans on, or if the air conditioning's working well, that can take moisture out of the air. I noticed this morning when I woke up there was no moisture at all in my shower from my shower last night. I thought, oh, this is good because it's taking the moisture out of the air. When I was in Bermuda, you see, it's only a mile wide and it's 21 miles long. And everything's moist. Everything's damp in Bermuda. So they would have to use their air conditioners and their fans. They'd have to be on the whole time to try and dry things out. But they're just things to keep an eye on. When the sun shines out, that's the beauty. You have a lot of sunshine, you can throw your bedding out onto the sun. You can peg up your clothes, your pillows, let them have a good sun, because the sun is a powerful detoxer and cleanser. Let it go very, very deep. So that's what must be addressed, is chemicals, mould, your bedding. If you wake up tired every morning, what you've got to check is, how late did you eat? Have you got fresh air in that bedroom? Assess your pillows underneath your bed. That's why at our health retreat we have no carpet, because carpet is something that can harbour dampness, and when dampness gets in carpet, what have you got then? You've got mould in carpet. So ideally have your wood floors, your tile floors. I'm sure in this hot climate most people do have. They're so easy to keep clean. Are there any questions as we finish our lung lecture? One thing to remember, if someone has asthma and they stop wheat, it can take at least 2 months to see a full effect of that.
Ventilation plays a key role in maintaining good air quality. Indoor air can become stagnant when windows remain closed for long periods, trapping pollutants, allergens, and moisture. Opening windows when possible allows fresh air to circulate, reducing the buildup of harmful particles. When outdoor air isn't ideal, air purifiers with HEPA filters help remove dust, mold spores, and other contaminants. Houseplants contribute to cleaner air by absorbing toxins and increasing oxygen levels. Snake plants, peace lilies, and spider plants are known for their ability to filter pollutants. Overwatering should be avoided, as damp soil can become a breeding ground for mold and bacteria. Household cleaning products often release chemicals into the air, affecting respiratory health. Many contain volatile organic compounds, VOCs, which can irritate the lungs. Switching to natural fragrance-free cleaners helps reduce exposure to these harmful substances. Humidity levels also impact air quality. Dry air can cause throat irritation and increase the spread of airborne viruses, while excessive moisture promotes mold growth. Keeping indoor humidity between 30% and 50% helps maintain a balanced environment. In humid climates, dehumidifiers prevent damp conditions, while humidifiers add moisture in drier environments. Dust mites thrive in bedding, carpets, and upholstered furniture, feeding on dead skin cells. Washing bedding in hot water, vacuuming with HEPA filters, and using dust-proof mattress and pillow covers help minimize their presence. Heating and cooling systems require regular maintenance to prevent the circulation of dust, pollen, and mold spores. Dirty filters can worsen air quality, making regular replacements essential. Keeping HVAC systems clean reduces respiratory irritants. Outdoor pollution affects indoor air as well. In areas with high pollution, checking the Air Quality Index, AQI, before opening windows or exercising outdoors helps protect lung health. When pollution levels are high, keeping windows closed and using an air purifier minimizes exposure to harmful particles. Air quality plays a significant role in overall health. Small adjustments, such as improving ventilation, reducing chemical exposure, and maintaining proper humidity levels, create a cleaner living environment. Breathing clean air supports better sleep, stronger lung function, and improved well-being. Breathing is something we do every day without thinking, but as you've seen, how we do it can make a huge difference in our health. Nose breathing comes with powerful benefits, while mouth breathing can have some surprising downsides. So if you want better energy, focus, and overall well-being, it might be time to pay attention to how you breathe. Try some of the tips we shared and see the difference for yourself. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.